Hello there everyone, and welcome to your weekly MTA plan work video for the Queens Subways and the Long Island Railroad for the Columbus Day weekend of Friday, October 11, 2019, and lasting until Monday, October 14th, 2019. Of course, this is a very important weekend for Italian heritage, so of course we have the big parade in the city on Monday, which is going to be a big deal. I'm sure there's going to be street closures in Manhattan. Also, I want to mention that this weekend is a huge weekend for the New York Yankees. They will be starting Game 1 of the American League Championship Series on Saturday, so very big weekend here in New York City, of course, and maybe even the whole tri-state, but of course, we're going to talk about the Queens Subways and the Long Island Railroad. This week, for the Long Island Railroad presentation, we're actually going to read a press release on the MTA's website because, let's just say, a certain branch is going to have a big price to pay when it comes to East Side access. You might know on the top of your head what I am talking about. So we'll get to that when we get to, of course, that segment of the video. Without further ado, let's get started. First up, our purple friend has no work again. The 7 will be available. That's very good news. We need the 7 available. But I'm sure this pattern eventually is going to have to end because you don't know if or when they'll ever do work in the 7 on a weekend again. Could change, you never know. Stay tuned. Is there any work on the N? Unfortunately, yes. The 11th through the 14th, Friday, 9:45 p.m. to Monday, 5 a.m. Uptown N trains will skip Prince Street, 8th Street, NYU, 23rd, 28th, and 49th Street because of signal improvements. And I'll also spoil it, the R is also going to be impacted, so I'll recap it quickly on that slide. So, how do you need to get to those stations, you may be asking? Well, if you need to get to impacted stations, you can take the N train to 14th Street Union Square or 34th Street Herald Square and transfer to a downtown N, Q local, or R train. For service from these stations, take the N, Q, or E, which I do apologize, folks. That is a typo there. I don't know how that even got there. For service from these stations, you can take the N, Q, or R to 14th Street Union Square or Canal Street and transfer to an Uptown N. Because I was wondering to myself, how did the E train get in there? I'm like, I know the 14th Street Union Square station very well. The E train never stops there. And Canal Street's the last stop in Manhattan before you get to the Manhattan Bridge. So, that's my fault, folks. And there have been other presentations where I've had to edit it on the fly, but it happens. Continuing on, the 12th to the 13th, Saturday, 3:45 a.m. to Sunday, 10 p.m., we have station renewal along the Ditmars line. So, Astoria-bound N trains will skip 39th, 36th, 30th Avenue, and Broadway because of, once again, station renewal, and we probably know where the station renewal is. I'm not going to get into it. Astoria Ditmars Boulevard. So, at Plain Ditmars Boulevard, for service to the impacted stations, you can go northbound to Plain Ditmars Boulevard, not Astoria Ditmars Boulevard because of the station renovation project. You can transfer to a southbound Coney Island Stillwell Avenue train. For service from these stations, you can take the N to Queensboro Plaza and transfer to an Astoria-bound N train. So, again, you have to do the work sooner or later, right? And I know many people were going to complain that, oh, we can't go to Coffin this weekend to see the Addams Family, which, you know, somebody should have the MPAA should have told the MTA about this, you know. Not screw people in Astoria, but I guess he can get the heads up. You still do have your way to get to Kauffman Stadium. It's just going to be a little bit difficult, and you may have to plan extra time out to get to the movie theater. That's all I'm saying. On the L train, October 11th to the 14th, Friday 10 p.m. to Saturday 1:30 a.m. Saturday to Monday 6 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. The last stop for some L trains headed towards Manhattan will be LIRR Street in Brooklyn because of the L project. So, once again, the last stop will be in Williamsburg. To complete your trip, you can transfer to the A, Z, or J at Broadway Junction in East New York, the M at Myrtle Wyckoff Avenue in Bushwick, or the G at LIRR Street, Metropolitan Avenue in Williamsburg. Friday, 10 p.m. to Monday, 5 a.m. throughout the summer of 2020. Once again, you will have L train running every 20 minutes between Brooklyn and Manhattan because of the L project that is supposed to be completed in April. In Brooklyn, the L will run every 10 minutes. Not going to get into the M again. You all know the drill by now. And I quickly want to mention that I should have added this, and I'm very annoyed with the MTA, how they don't encourage people to use the F on the weekends. But, yeah, just quickly want to mention, we have a little bit of a controversial project taking place along the F this weekend. I'll get into that as we go along here. So again, just want to quickly go through this. Well, folks, do apologize. There we go. Got it correctly. Got it done correctly, folks. Also, because of the L project, you will have your M service running between Middle Village Metropolitan and Rockefeller Plaza, going along the F to Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street, and via the Q to and from 2nd Avenue and 96th Street. So, also need to bring that up as well. Always important. Can't believe I'm saying this. We actually have work on the R. Friday, 9:45 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. Again, I mentioned this on the end slide. I'm not really going to get into it, but I'll just leave this up here so you all get an idea of what your options are for this weekend. I do apologize. I got to take a DVD out of my disk drive because I was ripping a DVD just now. Okay, let's get into the main thing here. October 12th to the 13th, Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. 71st Avenue bound R trains will be running express from Queens Plaza to Forest Hill 71st Avenue because of electrical improvements. However, trains will be stopping at Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. For service to local stations, you can take the R to Forest Hill 71st Avenue or Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue and transfer to a westbound train. For service from local stations, you can take the R to Roosevelt Avenue and Queens Plaza and transfer to a Forest Hills bound R. And by the way, this is also going to imply for the E train, if I can pull it up here. Well, we'll get to that in just a second. It's the same thing, but this is a different thing on the E I need to bring up. The 11th for the 14th, Friday, 11:45 p.m. to Monday, 5 a.m. Eastbound Jamaica Center bound trains will skip 75th Avenue to Forest Hills and Briarwood because of electrical improvements. For service to 75th Avenue, you can take the E train to Kew Garden Junior Turnpike and transfer to a Manhattan-bound E or F train. For service to Briarwood, you can take the E train to Jamaica Van Wyck and transfer to a World Trade Center bound E. For service from these stations, you can take the E or F to Kew Garden Junior Turnpike or 71st Avenue and transfer to a Jamaica Center bound E train. October 11th for the 14th, once again, we have the electrical improvement project thanks to Andy Byford's Fast Forward plan. Once again, I'm not going to get into it. We already talked about it on the R slide. Pretty much this the same thing. I'm just going to quickly summarize it. Once again, if you need service to local stations, take the E to Jackson Heights Roosevelt or 71st Avenue and Forest Hills. Take a westbound train. For service from the local stations, take the E to Roosevelt Avenue to Queens Plaza, and then transfer to a Jamaica Center-bound E train. So, pretty much, you have your options. You don't have to worry about that. I'll just quickly mention Forest Hill 71st Avenue is another transfer point. So, save headaches that way. Just like the E. Jamaica-bound F trains will skip 75th Avenue, Briarwood, and Suffolk Boulevard because of electrical improvements. So, I should have been more specific with the F train, but I'll just pull it up on my phone very quickly to get a map, give you all an idea if you need service. So if you need service to Suffolk Boulevard, best way I would do it is either go to Parsons Boulevard, 169th Street, or even 179th Street and take a westbound train that way. That would be my recommendation in that regard. Also, you do have your buses, but again, you can't really trust traffic in Jamaica. Alright, so I don't know how that even got there. Whoa, okay, folks. I don't know how that got added there twice. Right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. As I mentioned, Parsons Boulevard. Can't make this stuff up, folks. I thought I did typed it, but apparently that's not the case. Also, I just want to quickly mention that this weekend, I didn't want to add it to the PowerPoint because it would just cause me a bigger headache. But I will mention this, and this is very important, that the F train is going to be running local along the A between J Street Metro Tech and West 4th Street, Washington Square Park. So, if you're wondering, why isn't the F train stopping at East Broadway or Delonte Essex Street, 2nd Avenue, Broadway Lafayette, folks, all I'm just going to tell you is stay patient. Best thing I would do if you are coming from Brooklyn and you need service to those stations in Manhattan is just transfer to a southbound train at West 4th Street, Washington Square Park. And I'll quickly mention this, and I will read it from my email. The reason why the F is going to be running along the A this weekend, this is very important because, again, I do have to bring this up. But I did have it. See, this is what I don't like about my iPhone sometimes. Plan work. There we go. Found it. So, the reason why the F is going to be running along the A this weekend because of signal improvements. So, I'll mention for York Street, you can use the nearby High Street A station. For East Broadway and 2nd Street, use a Coney Island bound F train. And again, just to save yourself headache, as I just mentioned, and I would do this again if you are coming from Brooklyn, just transfer to a southbound train at Washington Square Park. Makes it easier, but if you are going to York Street, High Street's not that far of a walk, so if you need to be in that area, at least High Street is an alternative. So anyhow, A and the C, there's no work along the A and the C in Brooklyn, but I do want to quickly mention there's going to be track maintenance in Manhattan between 207th Street and 181st Street. So shuttle buses are going to be running along that route this weekend. So just giving you the heads up, if you are going up north to that part of Manhattan, just be aware that there's going to be no service past 181st Street. Alright, so just giving you all the warning now. Shuttle work on the 42nd Street line. I just want to quickly mention that. Not going to get into it. Also, before I move on, I just want to mention that there is no planned work this weekend along the D in the Bronx. We need the D to cooperate. And as far as the 4 train, Woodlawn bound 4 service will skip 138th Street Grand Concourse because of track maintenance. And Manhattan bound 4 service will skip Mosholu Parkway because of track maintenance. But other than that, No service to Yankee Stadium should be impacted, and I'm recording this video on Wednesday, and I'm only saying that because we don't know if the Yankees will be the host of the ALCS. It depends on what happens with Game 5 tomorrow of the Ray-Astro series. Tampa wins, Yankees will host Game 1 at Yankee Stadium on Saturday. If Houston wins, there will not be a game at Yankee Stadium until Tuesday. So, just giving everybody the heads up on that. Uh-oh, guess what, folks? We have work on the J line. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the good pattern of no work along the J has been broken because of track replacement. J service between Broadway Junction and East New York and Jamaica Center will be replaced by bus service and the E line. This will take place October 12th to the 13th, Saturday 3:30 a.m. to Sunday 10 p.m. J service will still run between Broad Street in Manhattan and Broadway Junction in East New York, Brooklyn. Free shuttle buses will make all J stops between Broadway Junction and 121st Street and connect with the E at Jamaica Van Wyck. Transfer between trains and free shuttle buses at Jamaica Van Wyck E and or Broadway Junction J. For JFK AirTrain, you can use the Howard Beach JFK A station via transfer at Broadway Junction in East New York, Brooklyn. No work on the crosstown G line. Just want to quickly bring that up. Now it's Long Island Railroad time. As I mentioned earlier, this week we will read a special press release regarding East Side access with train schedules being adjusted starting this weekend. So once again, we will be reading from a press release this week, and thankfully no on-the-fly editing, which again, I gotta get better with that every week, and hopefully next week's presentation will be a whole lot better and no crazy schedule, because that's why I was sort of in a rush to put it out. But this is something that I'm very happy to read about. Okay, here's what we know about this East Side access signal testing for the next 4 weekends. So, what we know right now is weekend Port Washington branch service to shift to hourly service. So, this is going to be interesting, which I'll review the PDF files in just a second. I will also talk to you all about Babylon branch trains originate or terminate at Jamaica for Penn Station connections. So not all trains along the Babylon branch are gonna, be that way. But let's read on. Over the next 4 weekends, on October 12th to the 13th, the 19th to the 20th, 26th and the 27th, and November 2nd to the 3rd, MTA crews will perform tests of signals in Harold Interlocking in Long Island City. The complex's switches in, of course, the Sunnyside Rail Yard, which, again, I still consider that to be Long Island City. Where this is going to be interesting. I'm very happy about this. This is a good sign that the capital plan is moving along. Long Island Railroad trains bound for Grand Central will separate from its trains to Penn Station, and where eastbound trains from those 2 terminals will merge onto the main line for travel to Long Island. As a result of these signal tests, trains will operate hourly on the Port Washington branch instead of every 30 minutes during these 4 weekends. Alright, so hourly service, which I understand why they have to do so, because that's where you shift the track between Flushing and Woodside. On the Babylon branch, approximately half of trains that normally travel to or from Penn Station in Midtown Manhattan during these 4 weekends will instead originate or terminate at Jamaica in Queens, which of course many of you know is my home station on the Long Island Railroad network. Customers can connect there with Penn Station trains. To accommodate the service changes on those 2 branches, trains on most other branches will operate with some schedule adjustments of up to 5 minutes. Alright, so again, we have one specific weekend along the Montauk line, and it looks like only on the Port Washington branch, which, by the way, I want to bring up something very quickly if I can find it. Because I want to mention that there is going to be an important change for next weekend. Let me make sure I can find it. So I am looking for it. I do apologize. Meeting materials recent. Ah, here we go. So this was mentioned, believe it or not, in the committee book. This is where I always reference my source. There is going to be important work next week, and I do need to quickly bring up before I show you some other PDF files that I wanted to get into. See, this is what's so annoying. Why does it take my internet so long to pull up these files? Here we go. Well, let's see. Let's just make sure. I'm trying to find it. Ah, the work plan. So if you want to double check this for yourself, you can look at it. But the work plan should be in here. I'm trying to find it. I do apologize. If I can't find it, we'll just have to go back to the index. Oops. Do apologize, folks. Thought I could find it. Let's see. Safety report. That's not it. Here we go. Ah, here we go. Full track work program. So it will be on page 139. And once again, approved by, I can't even read the signature. Department head signature. Right. Senior Vice President Philip Bang. Okay. Here we go. I'm trying to find it because I know it was down here. Yeah, here we go. So this was also mentioned, again, I am double checking with the press release because this was in the committee book, and we'll zoom in. Okay, here we go. This is the one I wanted to talk about. So this weekend, oh, it's actually this weekend, so why didn't I see anything on the Service Exchange's website? Okay, something is completely off here, but I'll read it anyway. On the weekend of October 12th to the 14th for 8 hours in the overnight each day, portions of the Port Washington branch will be out of service for several projects. The DOT, which we don't know if this is the state of the city, will demolish the pedestrian bridge over the Long Island Railroad right away at 216th Street in Bayside. So, give you an idea of this area, let's just quickly Google Bell Boulevard and Northern Boulevard. That way I can get you an idea. So again, it says 216th Street. So we'll quickly pull that up. I know this area very well. Oh, I know this bridge. Yeah. Wow, they're finally going to demolish the bridge. About time. So folks, I'll get you a look of this bridge. What's going on here? Why isn't there a Google view of it? I would hope there's a Google view of it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So, this is the bridge that they are talking about. So, they're finally going to demolish the bridge at 216th Street. So, the 13th, there will be performing maintenance and testing of the branch. Temporary service adjustments. On Saturday, October 12th, buses will replace trains in the Port Washington branch between Woodside and Port Washington. And on Sunday, October 13th, same thing. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Okay. What's going on here? It says buses are supposed to be replacing trains in the PWB this weekend? Oh, I mean, I understand why they want to plan ahead because, again, this is Columbus Day weekend. So at least they're not impacting people's travel on Monday for, again, the high demand of travel for the Columbus Day Parade on Monday. Ooh, let's read this, folks. I think I also should bring this up. For a 4-week period beginning October 5th and continuing through November 10th, the Montauk branch east of Southampton will be out of service. Oh, wait a minute. I remember this now. The head of Passengers United told me about this. Now I remember. Oh, boy. So, east of Southampton? Alright, why are they doing this? They're replacing 2 bridges in East Hampton at North Main Street and Accabank Road. Clearance of the roadways will increase in both cases, improving safety and reducing the possibility of bridge strikes with oversized vehicle improperly traversing these roadways. And look at this! They're going to be doing the same similar work on the weekend of October 26th and the 27th. Alright, temporary service adjustments. Buses will replace all train service east to Southampton on a 24/7 basis between Tuesday, October 15th and Sunday, November 10th. Now, the reason why I know November 10th is a Sunday is because my birthday and the annual Northwell Health Employee Luncheon is going to take place on my actual birthday. So that's how I know that date very well, with the 11th being Monday. Customers should expect additional travel time and earlier westbound departures to allow connections with train service to Southampton. Alright, so pretty much, again, I don't really see anything. Let's see if they mention anything in the PDF. It's only Wednesday, but I want to see. Oh, okay, here we go, folks. So it is listed on the PDF. It is listed on the PDF. Here's what it says. Saturday, October 12th, from midnight to 8 a.m., buses will be replacing trains between Woodside and Port Washington. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. I see where this is going. So it's only going to be overnight. Oh. It seems my advocacy of overnight work is finally paying off. That's a good sign. And it says on Sunday, October 13th, from midnight to 8 a.m., buses will be replacing trains between Great Neck and Port Washington. Alright, this will be in support of Sperry rail testing. Okay, what's this about? It says Saturday and Sunday, Port Washington service is reduced to hourly from 10 a.m. to midnight. Service to and from Great Neck is increased to half hourly with added stops at Metzwolds Point to accommodate the Rolling Loud Festival. Alright then. So I just want to take a look and see if the regular half-hourly service at Auburndale is still on. Because that's still important for people on the weekend. Let's just make sure. Alright, good. So there's still half-hourly service at Auburndale. Because I'm like, wait a minute, if I wanted to go to Manhattan... Again, many of you know Auburndale's the station I use on the weekends because it's cheaper to get an Uber to and from the weekend from Fresh Meadows. Alright, so at least Auburndale's still available. And again, I don't care if you have to stop at Broadway and Murray Hill. I'm not in any mood to go to Jamaica if I need to get to Penn. Even though Auburndale has issues, at least it's a safer area than you know, I'd rather be in Jamaica on a weekday. Call me a hypocrite, but that's the way I feel. Here is the Babylon branch schedule. So, here's what it says. And I read this earlier to you all. Some trains will run on adjusted schedules. Some westbound Babylon trains will terminate in Jamaica, and some eastbound Babylon trains will originate in Jamaica. So, this is for 4 straight weekends. Just to remind everybody here. So this is going to be utter chaos, and I'll quickly mention that a friend of mine in Massapequa, I'm going to have to bring this up to him because him and his girlfriend are supposed to go to Midtown for a show, and that's going to be a problem. First of all, he mentioned to me that he's leaving at 6 o'clock, so let's just do an example for Massapequa. So let's see, does the train terminate in Jamaica? Let's see. Because he did mention to me he was going to take the 605 out of... 607, that's the one he told me. 607 out of Massapequa. So let's see. Is that one terminating in Jamaica? Let's see. Let's see. Is it? Uh-oh. Looks like he's going to be screwed. That's not good. He's going to have to change to Jamaica. That's cutting it too close because his girlfriend's coming from the middle of the island. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I would recommend just to go to Mineola where she lives, because at this point, that's going to be an issue. He's coming directly home from work, you know. One weekend, right, where my friend needs the Babylon branch, he's going to get screwed. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Let's just quickly check the main line. Just as an example. Okay, looks like the Ronkonkoma branch will not be impacted. It looks like only at night. What about eastbound? Okay, only in the morning. So wait a minute. This is going to be crazy. They're making people transfer to Hicksville? What? Okay, again, this is so confusing. What about the Port Jeff branch? Is that going to be impacted? Any trains terminating at Jamaica? Let's just check for PM. And my friend has to come from Mineola, so she's going to have a problem. Let's see. Alright. So, I can't believe I'm saying this, folks, but you're going to have to change to Jamaica anyway. Because look at this. They're making everybody come from Jamaica. That's crazy. So they have to literally have trains go to and from Jamaica. It's going to be like a parade over there the next 4 weekends. Once again, you can't make this stuff up. This is just completely unprecedented. What about the Long Beach branch? I'm just curious. Because you do have options. You could go to Brooklyn. You could take the subway into Manhattan, which is another recommendation. Let's just take a look for fun. Okay, only hourly service, but it looks like all the trains are going to Penn. Alright, so that's not that bad. At least the Long Beach branch doesn't get screwed in that sense. We'll give credit when credit's due. I mean, hey, you know, that's a good sign at least. Yeah. Alright, so I think with that, all I'm just going to say right now is pack some patience. Listen to announcements on your train. If they're telling you you have to change to Jamaica and you're strict for time, particularly in my friend's case from Massapequa, it's just better for him to meet his girlfriend in Manhattan, at Penn. It's just easier to wait for announcements. If they're saying you have to change to Jamaica, change to Jamaica. This also goes for everybody. And again, I'm just, they're technically wrong. I mean, some mainline trains do have to stop at Jamaica. So it's not just the Babylon branch. Everybody's getting impacted. So this is kind of misleading. I will say that. So, thank you all for watching this weekend service changes video. Well, plan work in my case. So thank you all for watching, and until the next one, please take care.